Hi, welcome to another segment of iRAMBLE, where I talk on and on and on and on and hopefully say something entertaining. I want to talk about travel, specifically an area that I've been going to and from for quite a few years now. And I'm not going to tell you what area it is because I want to hold any stereotypes, whether you have in reserve. I don't want you to think of what this area is, but you can guess. Anyway, whenever I know that I could have made this earlier on, but the reason something did trigger this, and I'll tell you what it was later. But anyway, when I first decided to come to this area, you have to get a visa and certain papers, and some of your previous, like some of your papers and credentials have to be notarized and such, and it's a long process, and you do have to do quite a bit of work, and maybe you have to pay a little bit depending on what area you do. Some people are lucky and they don't have to pay for that. But anyway, so I got my visas and everything processed, and some people, when I had to get my papers notarized, and this guy looked and said, "Oh, why are you going there? Like, that sounds adventurous." And he was probably one of the only sweetest people I have ever met, who were that sweet about hearing about me coming to this area. Then I had to go pick up my passport and papers and some other things from my embassy, or from the passport, like, what's it called? I can't remember. Anyways, so I had to go there, like the ministry. And when I go, the lady's like, "Oh my God, like, why are you going there? Like, it's like, quite a dangerous area, I hear, especially for women. It's not great. I hear there's kidnappings and many bad things, especially foreigners, and you're a woman, you're on your own. And like, why couldn't you think of another place? Like, you're going there for work." She was saying, she's like, was it the money? And I was like, holy, so many inappropriate questions and things. I was like, but okay, I guess they were trying, to caution me, and they were being sweet. They were really sweet. So I was like, okay, thanks so much. Just give me my papers, and I will, I'll be cautious and everything. And they were like over greeting me as I was leaving the door. Like, they thought, "Oh my God, we're going to hear about this girl in the newspapers, and it's not going to be good, and we're going to be the heroes who warned her." Anyway, so I don't know, but they were really sweet and nice and everything. Or maybe they were just coming out for a smoke, so that's why that could be the case. So anyway, then one time, the second time I think I was traveling through to this area, I was in Heathrow, the London airport, and what happened was I'd gone through the wrong terminal, and so after they checked me and wanded me and everything and gone through, I realized I have to actually get shuttled to a whole other area of the airport. This is my handy dandy microphone. Not that I need it, I'm so loud without it. And it's not even a microphone, it's a hairbrush, an old one. Anyway, so I get shipped over to another area, and somebody comes with me. I don't want to have to go through the process again, but they say, yeah, she does have to. Anyway, when I get there, it's taking quite a long time. I don't know what the holdup was. So some women start chatting with me, and then they take my paper and they're looking at my boarding pass, everything, making sure that I have the right terminal this time. So she's looking there. She's, "Oh my God, you're going to said country?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh yeah," and I was nauseating kind of tired. She's like, "Oh, I have like a friend's cousin's uncle's sister's neighbor's child's daughter's aunt's imaginary friend's uncle's husband's sister is married to a man from that country." I was like, "Oh my God, thanks for the family tree. Oh yeah, and how is it?" She's, "Well, it's okay." And as we're chatting, a lady comes from somewhere, and she looks and smells and sounds like she's a huge smoker. And so she comes over and she's like, "Oh, hello, and how are you?" And I can't do a British accent and a smoker's voice all at once. So she comes over, they look at my paper, she says, "Oh, what's going on here?" And she has her like jacket on. I guess she does work, because she works like at this thing, because she was just like loitering around chatting. So she takes off her jacket and whatever. She's like, "Oh my God, that area." She says, "What are you going here?" and everything. And she's like, "Oh, this is your second time round?" And she's like, "I heard something." And she starts whispering. She's like, "I heard something about this country. Apparently, they take cucumbers. They rape each other with cucumbers." As horrendous as this was, she whispered the beginning and then loudly said, "Rape each other with cucumbers." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Okay, they know I'm not a national, but I'm going to this country, so in the lineup there were other nationals going there, and there was a gentleman he was a British fellow actually, flying back there. He works for a law firm or something in that country, but not. He wasn't a lawyer. He's actually a pilot. He's a pilot, and he's like the personal pilot for this company, and he flies like their little company jets from wherever to wherever. they need to go. And he was even, like, later he had overheard the conversation. He was like, yeah, you know, you have to understand, like, a lot of people have these misconceptions, and on and on. And I was like, yeah, I know, it's appalling. So back to these women, they were, again, very sweet, but oh my God, the things she was saying, she was like, yeah, they, you know, apparently they can't find anything to pleasure themselves with, so they're raping each other with cucumbers. And I'm like, oh my God, you've used the word rape, cucumber, and pleasure in the same sentence very loudly. And at this time, like I said, I wasn't feeling very great, and no one at any airport's like, oh, I'd love to take it forever as I go through these, you know, wandy things. And this is my second time round in that area, because like I said, they messed up earlier, or I did. I went through the wrong terminal. So they're going through. Then the other lady, whose cousins, uncles, married ex-husbands, imaginary friends, married to their neighbor's daughter's child's sister, is married to that man from that country, says, yeah, and apparently, because I know this blah 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 blah, she says the family tree again. Apparently the men steal all the women's money, everything. He takes everything from her when she gets there, and like she gets nothing. I'm like, oh my dear God, again the poor nationals. And even I'm feeling like I'm not up for it. I mean, to joke about certain nationalities or certain accents is one thing, but they were like, it felt like attacking with smiles was the thing. So anyway, they continue to give me all these cautionary tales of how to make your stay at azkaban rather pleasant. And so after that, I was just like, oh God, guys, thank you so much. And I take my things, and I'm just like absolutely appalled and shocked that they were saying these things and looking over at the people. And by the way, they speak fluent English and many other languages. Like I could hear them speaking, and they were businessmen of their country, but and some students and stuff, and I'm pretty sure they heard and they were not happy. So that was one incident. Then one time back at the airport when I was leaving from home, this lady, I think this might have been the last time, like on my way here, the last time I came, like the last time I ever took a plane to that country. The lady at the airport, first of all, she was looking through my thing. She's like, "Miss, you cannot enter that country without visa." She was very French, and I can't do the French accent very good, but I'm gonna try because I have some French friends, and I think they'll appreciate it. So she's like, "Yes, you cannot enter that country without visa." And I said, "Yes, I have a visa." And so she goes through and she's like, "No, miss, this expired. It's only 90 days you have." And I'm like, "Yes, that's." And I tried. She's, "Miss, don't touch anything." Oh my God, she was being really like, "Oh, my job is just as serious as a brain surgeon and curing cancer." So put together. So another lady comes over. She speaks English fluently and everything. She goes through the paper. She finds it, and the paper is not in English, but the main part, like visa, how many days, exit, re-entry, blah blah blah, and the date is all in clear English and everything, and the countries and all that stuff. So she looks at it. She's like, "Oh, okay." So she "Oh yeah, everything's fine." So she tells me, "Why are you going? You are working there? Like, why? Can I ask what you do?" And she asked too many overly personal questions, and I answered as short as possible without being rude. And then she said, I just want you to be very careful. I hear many things about this area. It is very dangerous. There's many murders and kidnapping, especially foreign women. Many kidnapping. And she went on and on to tell me about that. I was like, oh my God, like, why is it everyone who thinks I'm going to this area? Like, I don't know, do they do this with everyone who ever goes to this country? I'm not the only one coming to this area. But maybe because I was a woman traveling alone, that's what alarmed them. I don't know, but I still thought it was like shocking to hear anyone talk about a country like that. So I was like, so she was saying, she wasn't very bad, but she was saying that, then she started comparing it. Apparently either she's married to a Cuban or she's from Cuba. Then she started saying like horrible things about Cuba and areas and stuff, that she's been in and the robberies and all these things and the swindling. And she goes on and I'm just like, oh my God, 2 birds, 1 stone. You have 2 nations really ticked off at you right now. So yeah, so she says, anyway, just watch out and don't go out at night and things like that. And, I have some friends who are from that area. or married to people. I don't know what it was, but she was like, apparently in their they have this religion. They believe in one God, and she's like, I believe. I can't remember what she said her religious affiliation was, but I believe in one God. But they also have this. She was doing. I don't know what she was going on about. She's saying that they all together, the man and his wife and his daughter and his children and their sisters, they all do things. She was basically telling me that apparently there's this religion in this area that says believe in only one Lord, but also you can do whatever the heck you want in a sexual manner with any other human being, regardless of their relationship or anything to you. Mothers and fathers and uncles and sisters and cousins and daughters and everything, all together, all at once, and sometimes not. This is what she was telling me. So I was like, dear me, thank you so much for all this advice. On my way to Azkaban, take my passport and stuff and just go. I can't believe these things that are being said, and I'm just like, anyways, I'm not here to say anything. That's why I'm not telling you what country it is. I'm not here to say it's great everywhere. There's great everywhere. There's bad everywhere. There's everything. There's no, even in one person, there's no one person who is truly, like, there are no angels. Okay, well, I don't want to crush anyone's dreams and hopes, but like, I mean, as humans, nobody is, you know, absolute from doing wrong or being horrible or anything like that. But some worse than others. So anyway, that was like the experience I had. And then the reason I this like just triggered all this was because whenever you go to another country, I don't know if this was all embassies or in all countries, but my embassy, like you don't have to, but they suggest that you register that you're in this country from when to when and what area. So just in case anything happens, you can be like, SOS, and they'll come rescue you. So I called my consulate, and I don't know if I got the same representative or she had it on file, or whatever it was that so I'm like, oh yeah, hi, this is blah blah blah, this is my passport, and so they passed me through to people, this is my passport number, and blah blah blah. She asked a few more information, and I told her, yeah, so I'm in this area, and she's like, again? I hadn't even finished my sentence, and she like inhaled all the oxygen available on planet Earth, then exhaled it, and was like, again? I was like, yes. Again, once again, I am checking into Guantanamo Bay. And so she was like, well, she's like, okay, well, what are you doing here? And oh, so are you working? And where? And she asked a few more questions. And she's like she was saying if I had friends. She's like, okay, well, how is it? And I was like, well, you know, with all the cucumber raping in between that and my money being stolen and all this other stuff, I haven't had much time to enjoy anything else. Like, oh my god, the reaction I was getting from people traveling to this area was like, it was serious. It was appallingly hilarious. Like, I couldn't believe the things that they were saying. Like, I don't know why they think there's an area where they tell you believe in one God, but also rape people with cucumbers if you can't find anything else. And yeah, that is, thank you for listening to my ramble, if you listen.